Most washing machines sold in America today are built to last 8 years, not by accident, by design. Plastic tubs replace stainless steel. Digital control boards replace mechanical timers any technician could fix. Press-fit bearings replaced serviceable housings that lasted decades. When the board fails at year 6, the repair cost exceeds the replacement price. That calculation was made before the machine left the factory. Over 95% of washers now sold in the U.S. are imported, built for a single replacement cycle. Only 5 brands simply refused: Speed Queen, Maytag, Whirlpool, GE, and Amana. Everything else was designed to end. The modern washing machine is not a broken product. It is a finished one. Manufacturers did not stumble into fragility. They engineered it, substitution by substitution, across 2 decades of deliberate material decisions. The shift began in the late 1990s when offshore production unlocked cheaper input materials and eliminated the domestic accountability that had kept construction standards in place. Stainless steel tubs gave way to plastic. Cast iron counterweights were replaced with concrete-filled plastic housings that crack under thermal cycling. Direct drive motors were substituted with belt and pulley assemblies built to tolerances that guarantee wear before year 5. None of these changes improved the machine. They reduced the cost to build it and shortened the time before the buyer needed another one. The control board is where the modern washer dies. A mechanical timer, the kind that defined American washers for most of the 20th century, can be diagnosed, sourced, and replaced by any trained technician in under an hour. The digital control board in most imported washers is proprietary, non-transferable between model years, and discontinued within 5 years of a unit's production run. When the board fails, and industry repair records show it typically does between years 5 and 8, the replacement part costs between $200 and $400. Labor adds another $100 to $150. On a machine that retailed for $650, the math resolves in one direction. Replacement, the manufacturer sells another unit. The old machine reaches the landfill. The ledger closes in the manufacturer's favor, and the cycle begins again. Appliance repair technicians with more than 2 decades in the field give a consistent account. The machines they see for repeat failures are the same brands that offshored production in the early 2000s. The machines they refuse to take on: sealed bearing assemblies, discontinued board lines, housings that require proprietary tooling, are not the exception. They are the majority of what comes through the door. Consumer durability data from independent testing organizations puts the average lifespan of a mid-range imported washer at 7 to 9 years. For American-built units from the same era, the documented figure was 15 to 20. That gap did not emerge from superior foreign engineering. It emerged from a different set of priorities. The machine was designed to fail. That was the point. The labeling that surrounds this market functions inside the same regulatory gray area that covers garments and electronics. The Federal Trade Commission permits a Made in USA claim only when virtually all components and labor are domestic. But assembled in USA requires no such threshold. A washer with a Chinese motor, a Vietnamese control board, a Mexican tub, and final bolting completed at a South Carolina facility can carry an American flag on its packaging without violating a single rule. Company supply chain disclosures, where they exist at all, do not identify component-level origins. Import data from the U.S. International Trade Commission confirms that more than 95% of washing machine components entering the country originate in Asia, primarily China, South Korea, and Vietnam. The brand name stays American. The machine does not. The market pressure sustaining this system is not complicated. Retailers compete on floor price. A $599 washer outsells an $899 washer regardless of projected lifespan, because the buyer at the register is comparing sticker prices, not cost per year figures. Manufacturers who hold to durable components face a structural disadvantage at the point of sale. The incentive to substitute cheaper parts is arithmetic enforced by competitive margin. Price competition rewards fragility, and fragility rewards volume. The label moved, the factory moved, the lifespan followed. Between 1999 and 2020, U.S. washer production capacity fell by more than 60%. The brands that remained domestic either found buyers willing to pay for durability or they disappeared. The ones that stayed built a different business model: make a machine that works, then build it again for the same buyer 25 years later. 5 brands built differently on purpose, and the record confirms it. Speed Queen has been manufacturing in Ripon, Wisconsin since 1908. The machines leaving that facility today carry commercial-grade stainless steel wash tubs, direct drive motors, and mechanical timer options that require no proprietary board to operate. Internal cycle testing documents Speed Queen's residential top-load washers at 10,400 cycles, the equivalent of 25 years of average household use. The bearing housings are designed for access without specialized tooling, serviceable by any trained technician. When a component wears, the part can be sourced and swapped within the hour. No replacement required, no new sale generated. Maytag's production from Newton, Iowa established the standard for heavy-gauge steel cabinetry and commercial strength bearing assemblies that defined American washer construction for most of the 20th century. Company records confirm that Maytag's commercial line units retain that specification today. Bearings rated for 2 to 3 times the cycle life of standard residential imports. Appliance repair professionals consistently rank Maytag commercial units among the longest-running machines they encounter, with documented service records extending past 2 decades of continuous household use. Whirlpool has operated out of Benton Harbor, Michigan since 1911. The company's U.S. assembled line uses a modular internal architecture. Pump, motor, and control assembly can each be removed and replaced without proprietary tools or platform-specific firmware. Whirlpool's domestic service parts catalog lists thousands of individual components for its current washer line, a figure that reflects a machine designed to be opened, not discarded. That is the difference between a $180 repair and a $600 replacement. GE Appliances returned to U.S. production at its Louisville, Kentucky Appliance Park facility in 2012, following a period of offshore assembly that lasted nearly a decade. The front load line built there features accessible pump housing and serviceable bearing assemblies, the 2 components responsible for the majority of washer failures in imported units. Production data from the Louisville facility confirms sustained domestic output, with component sourcing tracked through U.S.-based suppliers and assembly verified under direct company oversight. Amana has been operating in Amana, Iowa since 1934, founded by the Amana colonies around a manufacturing philosophy built on simplicity. The top load line carries fewer control board components than any comparable domestic competitor. Fewer boards means fewer failure points. The machines that leave that plant are built with the assumption that a repair technician will eventually open them, and that when they do, the layout will make immediate sense. No proprietary housing, no sealed assemblies, no mystery. Every one of these 5 brands still publishes a complete repair manual. Most imported brands do not. A Speed Queen top-load washer retails at approximately $1,200, over a documented 25-year service life that resolves to $48 per year. A mid-range imported washer at $650, replaced once at year 8 and again at year 16, costs $1,300 across the same window, before delivery fees, installation charges, and the hours spent selecting and disposing of 2 machines. The math requires only the willingness to count. Landlords with multi-unit properties already run these numbers. Commercial laundry operators run them without being asked. Appliance repair technicians who have watched import brands discontinue part lines mid-model run already know the answer well before the repair quote is written. The buyers who pay the Speed Queen or Maytag price are not paying for a flag on the packaging. They are paying for a machine whose parts will still exist in 15 years and whose repair manual still matches the unit in the laundry room. Durability was not a premium feature, it was the baseline. The industry did not engineer past it, it retreated from it deliberately and systematically in the direction of volume and replacement cycles. A washer designed to be repaired is a washer designed to respect the buyer. The price on the tag is not a surcharge for patriotism, it is a machine that assumes you will still own it in 20 years, built accordingly.